just so you'll understand the code. And as some people spake of the temple, how it was adorned with goodly stones and gifts, he said, Seest thou these great buildings? Where did seest thou these great buildings come from? Huh? Mark. That's right. And so what we're reading is in Luke, and now we're switching over to Mark. Why am I doing that? Because I want to include all of the text here so you can see that we're not leaving out any words. As for these things which ye behold, the days will come in the which there shall not be one stone left upon another that shall not be thrown down. Now, this particular little piece of prophecy here was remembered and recorded by all three of our gospel writers. You see? Now, just to let you know how the code's going to work, I want you to see this. Now, he says, And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privately, Master, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming? And the end of the world? What sign will there be when these things shall be fulfilled and come to pass? Now, many people who teach this say that you can take Matthew 24 and divide it into these three subjects, because you'll notice that he says, what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And he's saying that these are the orders that he's given. There is no way you're going to convince me of that. There's no way. The other Gospels use different wording entirely. What is he about to tell us? Read this like you would read anything else and tell me, what is he about to tell us? He's about to tell us about the end of the age, the end of the world as we know it. As a matter of fact, he says, not one stone will be left upon another that will not be thrown down. They said, when's that going to happen? If they were Kentucky boys, they would have said, when's that going to happen? And now he's about to tell them when it's going to happen. You say, no, wait a minute. I thought this was talking about 70 A.D. I thought this was talking about when the temple was razed to the ground by the Romans. I thought this was talking about Antiochus Epiphanes. No, he said there won't be one stone left upon another. Have you been there? There are stones left one upon the other. There's not going to be one stone left upon another that shall not be thrown down. Was he mistaken? Was he exaggerating? Maybe he was exaggerating. No, he was telling us about the end times. Yes, 70 A.D. looked a lot like this. Yes, you can find all kinds of parallels. Yeah, you can show Antiochus Epiphanes and show him as the Antichrist and the abomination of desolation. You can see all that in that. But he's talking about the end of times that you and I are concerned about. And I think the key here is not one stone left upon another. There's stones left right where they were laid. They're still there. I've seen them and I've touched them. I happen to have brought back a piece that I'm breaking little pieces off. And I'll mail them to you. Actually, I got them in my backyard, but they won't know the difference because we're not broadcasting, right? Oh, we are broadcasting? And well, it's over now. I might as well unplug it. And Jesus answered and said unto them, this is amazing. And you see this is in red. You need to know that when you see this in red, of course all these are all the words of Christ. But when you see them in red, you need to know that all of these Gospels are corroborating, at least two of them, are corroborating these words. Therefore, these are the words that these men remembered. These were the important words that they remembered that they felt like could not be set aside. or changed or altered. So when you see these similarities between the Gospels, it's pretty much a good chance that that's exactly what he said and what he meant. Take heed that no man deceive you. Listen, that's the first piece of advice when it comes to end-time events, end-time prophecies, and men who teach these kind of things. You take heed. Your responsibility. You take heed that no man deceive you. It's the number one instruction, and it is the number one forgotten instruction among the body of Messiah. You can put up a sign, you can offer prophecy conferences, and people flock there. Are they taking heed that no man deceive them? It's obvious that in these end times there are going to be men who are going to try to deceive you. We're going to find two different kinds of deception in men according to the words of Christ. One of them, oh no, I'm going to wait. I'm going to make you wait till we get there. Yeah. All right, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. Does anybody understand what that said? Very, very complicated until you switch out of your religious lingo and listen to what he said. All right, let's take a look at this. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ. How many of you believe that there are supposed to be quotes around the word, I am Christ? If this was written in modern English, not in the King James, should there be quote marks around, I am Christ? Many shall come in my name saying, quote, I am Christ. That's the way it's been taught. Jesus was saying, listen, there's going to be many who are going to come and say that I am Christ. Just because they say that Jesus Christ is Messiah, just because they say that Yeshua is Mashiach, does not mean that these people are not deceivers. Just because they say, oh, well, they confess Jesus Christ. There it is. Many will come in my name saying that I, Jesus Christ, am Christ. So you thought you were safe. You thought if a man believed that, why, he's got to be all right. No, he doesn't. And he shall deceive many. There's something else he's going to say. This is a shocker. There's something else he's going to say. And, quote, the time draweth near. Anybody doing that? There's no other way to read that sentence. Many will come saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And the time draweth near. Go ye not after them. Are you telling me that prophecy preachers who stand up and say the time draweth near, we're supposed to stay away from those people? No, that's what he said. That's what he said. Look at that message. Look at that message. Does that take in 97% of the television evangelists or not? Why should we stay away from somebody who says the time draweth near? Because that time is supposed to overtake us as a thief. Because you do not know that time. You do not know the day nor the hour. Yeah, but you go all over the world and tell people that it's going to come on trumpets. That's not the day he's talking about. The day of trumpets is when he comes and splits the sky and cleans up this mess. What's the day we're looking for? You see, you still got that old Christian mentality rattling around in your head. Walk into a church one day and a guy stuck his paw out there and said, how you doing, brother? Are you looking for Jesus to come back? I said, no, I'm not. You're not looking for Christ? I said, no, I'm looking for the Antichrist. Well, what? I was never told to look for him. I was told to look for the Antichrist. I don't know what you were told to look for. When you see the Antichrist, the abomination of desolation, standing where he ought not. Read Daniel and understand when you see that, when you see that, when you see that, know that the end is near. Not when a preacher tells you, but when you see it. So, what are you looking for? Aren't you looking for the abomination of desolation, or are you looking for him to pop through the sky? You need to take that Scofield Bible and throw it as hard as you can at whatever you don't like. I'm telling you, the idea of an imminent return of Jesus Christ is a waste of your time to try to decipher it out of the Scriptures. It's not there. We have to go with red letter eschatology. He said, look for the abomination of desolation. That's what I'm looking for. All right. And he said, take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and the time draweth near. Go ye not after them. Many shall come in my name, saying, the time draweth near. Is this new to anybody? Did you read this? Did you know this before tonight? Did you ever put this together that we're supposed to stay away from people who say that the time is near? I'm telling you, we are mandated not to go after them. All right, let's look. Before all these things, take heed to yourselves. For they shall deliver you up to councils. They shall lay their hands on you, persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons. And in the synagogues ye shall be beaten. Any volunteers? Being brought before kings and rulers for a testimony against them. They shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. But when they shall lead you and deliver you up, take no thought beforehand what ye shall speak. Neither do ye premeditate. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts not to meditate what you shall answer. But whatsoever shall be given you in that hour, that speak, for it is not ye that speak, but the Holy Ghost. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. Do you wonder why I am so adamant about you hearing the voice of God in your heart? To know the difference in being led of the Spirit of God and being led by your own intellect, by what you know and what you've studied and what you've learned. This is a clear mandate that you will not think about these things before. You will not prepare some kind of a speech. You will not consider that you have the mental capacity, the mental acuity to handle this situation. And if my pastor were here, he would be able to defend. He makes it clear you are to walk in there absolutely empty of any of your thoughts. You will not think about this beforehand. You're not going to prepare anything. But what you will have to be well versed in is the ability, the knowledge, the feeling, the understanding, the lifestyle that you've lived up to this point to know what it's like to be led of the Spirit of God. And if you don't know what it's like to be led of the Spirit of God in dealing with your kids and dealing with your money and dealing with your life and your boss and your wife and all the other things in the world that's going on now, do you really think that He is going to overtake your mind for the first time in your life and give you what you need to speak to these people? Something that is so wise and so full of truth and so full of the Spirit of God that they're not going to be able to argue with anything you say? And up until this point, you have never, ever experienced anything like this before? It's going to take people who are led of the Spirit to see to it that these things happen. That is why it's so important in these last days, that you do it just this way. Many shall be offended, and many shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Ye shall be betrayed both by parents